Hey guys, what's up? This is a real cool book, and this is called Industrial Light and Magic, and it's called Art of Innovation. Industrial Light and Magic, or ILM, and I'll show you like the inside of the book. That's just like the cover part of it, but the inside of it has got like an interesting picture here. I found that pretty interesting. It says ILM because it stands for Industrial Light and Magic, and it's got a magician as their logo. So it's pretty cool. Industrial Light and Magic, or ILM, basically is the main company that does all of those special effects for all of the movies that come out, all the big movies that come out. And they started with practical special effects back in the day, and they, of course, now I think they use a mixture of some practical effects, some makeup, and that kind of thing going on, like makeup and masks and costumes and stuff like that, and also a lot of digital computerized animation, computerized effects, which could be really cool when done right. And it's just better because, I mean, even though the practical effects were really cool at the time, the computer-driven effects are like a lot better because you can just do more with it, and you could do things a lot faster and a lot cheaper. So that's actually good for people that are like low-budget filmmakers, because like an old low-budget film, the effects were horrible. You know, the effects were like really, even though they were fun to watch, they were like, these are the worst. You know, but now it's like even a small filmmaker can have amazing effects because all they have to do is know how to do these things on a computer, and anyone coding can do this on a computer. Any art director or artist can do it on a computer, you know, so it's a lot easier. So this is pretty cool. This is the years of all the way back in the day, and on the cover it's just got like a bunch of these sort of like scenes from movies, and all of like the biggest movies are in here, and ILM did all of these. Industrial Light and Magic did all of these. It does say here like Pamela Glintenkamp, which I don't know if that means anything to anybody. Foreword by John Favreau and preface by Gore Verbinski. So I don't recognize any of these people. I'm not like, I don't know a lot about like the special effects industry or anything like that. But this book is cool. And at the time that I got it, I was like, it was like a really cool book, and I dug what was inside of it. So I'm just gonna show you, like, I know it's a heavy book, so I'm just gonna show you like some stuff in here. This is how they did the Iron Man movie with, what's his name, that actor, he's Iron Man, and then he did like everything else. Here we go with, I'm not sure, there's one of these, I think, is that Ghostbusters 2 or something like that? This looks like the scene from Ghostbusters 2 when they got the Statue of Liberty to walk through Manhattan. I think it is Ghostbusters 2, because like what else could it possibly be? So they start off and they go into films and stuff like that, and it starts off like 1975 to 1994, and of course, you know, they did like this, they did the Millennium Falcon, they did all of the practical effects for the older movies. George Lucas worked with them. They were huge, and even the effects in these movies were amazing. Like they were really great for their time, and they took a long time to do, and they were really, really expensive. And that's the thing, you know, where like they made it a lot easier and cheaper. And then you have the timeline for like the movie here on Planet Hoth, I think it's pronounced. And that was done in like 75 to 77, 78 to 80. And then you've got like more stuff. There's all kinds of stuff. Like they did E.T. They did E.T., they did whatever this other thing is. They did this with the knight, sort of like with the person, which I don't recognize that. If anyone recognizes that, I don't. Oh, Young Sherlock Holmes, which I didn't see that one, you know. And it's just like, what's cool about this book is that like every single page, there's something cool here. There's something just amazing about every single page. Like you got all of these really cool scenes that were created by ILM. like this guy. I think that's a time machine or something like that, or he's in some kind of spaceship. It's hard to like remember all of these things, but the big things is where everything is like, you know, they basically did it. All of the big like special effects in your favorite movie, they pretty much did that. And it just like goes on. And what's really pretty cool, even like movies like The Mask, here's something interesting. Like, no, I didn't read the whole thing like cover to cover, but I did start reading it, and it's very, very interesting. I do want to read the whole thing. Here's like The Mask with Jim Carrey and how they did that. By the time it was The Mask, it was already like digital CGI, but it takes like an artist to really figure it out and do a really good, convincing like mask of the character and stuff. Like even here, it's got the Terminator. Yeah. It's got like the Terminator, and I think that's the Terminator with the other guy who's made of like liquid, like fluid metal that turns into fluid metal, and like he's like the next level Terminator. And then there's like this one here. I don't know if that's, I don't know which dinosaur movie that is, but yeah, it's a Tyrannosaurus Rex attacking people. That looks pretty cool. You know, I really do think that these guys were like the special effects people. Like, if they did the special effects, it came out cool. If you saw a movie where the special effects were bad, or like weren't good at all, or they were funny or campy, or they were done really, really poorly, this company didn't do those special effects. This also company didn't do the Ray Harryhausen one. You know, some of these are like okay, like this one. This is a page with Casper. Like, you know, I'm like, whatever. You know, it doesn't look like, that doesn't look like that great. You know, it doesn't look compelling and stuff. But if you just like it's fun because this book is like every single page there's something new. Like here we go with Jumanji. I don't know how they did the effects for Jumanji, but it's an elephant like just like walking over a car. You know, I don't know how they did that effect, but Jumanji was like, even the first Jumanji was 1995, which was already the CGI. It was a lot of CGI effects, but I don't know if they used real elephants or whatever, or if that's even good, you know. But Jumanji had huge effects, and these guys did all of them. I don't know if they actually got an elephant to walk over a car or whatever, but I don't know. Let me see. And there's like lots of the other ones, Jumanji, like the lion from Jumanji, and then, oh, this is more of how they did it. You could see like the white like cutouts, and then it just shows you how they did it, which is pretty cool because the book also explains how they did the effects. And it just talks a lot about the people who did it. They give you a bunch of names that you probably won't recognize because like, and as you can see here, the lion was special effects. That was CGI, because right here in the corner, you could see where that lion was inserted into the scene. So that could have been just a computerized lion, or it could have been a real lion. I don't know. And then there's like, I don't remember this one, but this is like a house like splitting in two. I don't remember what movie that's from. And I just, like, yeah, I have no idea. Oh, that is just still Jumanji. Yeah. And this is like with the monkeys in the back of the car. Yeah, this is still Jumanji. I don't remember like the house splitting in two, but yeah, it did actually split in two. Which was crazy. Jumanji was like a thriller, like scary, weird, edge of your seat movie. I didn't expect it. You know, I didn't expect, it was just a board game, and then it became this like huge thing. You know, it's more like, I know there's a lot of Jumanji, but it's got rhinoceroses and how they did them and everything like that. They actually put a lot of emphasis on, they put a lot of pages on Jumanji. But I guess it's because Jumanji is one of their bigger films, and with a lot of like, Jumanji was all special effects, you know, and it had to be done with computers because you couldn't do that many special effects with practical effects. It would just be like millions more dollars and would take like an extra year or two to do and stuff. So you got a bunch of like stuff. I don't know like what this one's from, but it's got like, she's got like a hole through her body. They did that. It's kind of cool. Like, here we go. Like, you could see like here they're talking about. They have an article on this one right here about how they changed from practical to digital. Like, this is him. This is the guy doing a practical effect for the Hoth scene, right? With that thing that you ride in the cold, I think, yeah. So I think it's a Hoth, yeah. Yeah, it is. And so they talk about, like what's cool about this one is because they start all the way in the back, they talk about like practical effects, and they also talk about like special effects in the future, like digital effects. Okay, let's see what we got. This is pretty cool. Dragonheart. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but they did the dragon and Dragonheart. You know, the breathe fire and stuff. That's a cool one. Let's see. That's from 1996. And geez, and here we go where that was actually practical effects, because you could see where they built the dragon out of like foam or whatever they used, or plastic. This is how they built the dragon from Dragonheart. And they talk about that and they explain all that. And that's really interesting, how they actually built the dragon. I don't know if they built the whole dragon or just parts of the dragon and they kind of like did the rest of it. But it was a pretty cool dragon in Dragonheart. It was this one. And he was like a smart, like sentient, really, really smart, like person dragon. You know, because he was just like a person who was a dragon, basically. And the dragon was really smart and talked and everything like that. And then like, there's another one with that, another like sort of like breathing fire kind of dragon thing, which is pretty cool to do that. Even though like, I don't know if that was, if they did that, you know, like digitally or if they did it like non-digitally. Mars Attacks. I thought these were crazy looking Martians at the time. I thought these were like silly looking, but I think Mars Attacks was a campy, silly movie. It wasn't really meant to be taken seriously. And the Martians just show it. They're like not really meant to be taken seriously. Mars Attacks was like 1996. And yeah, they just made some puppets and be like, okay, they're Martians, you know? You could see more of them, like more Martians there. I don't think there's anything cool about them. They look weird and like comical. They're like comical, but not really comical. They look too weird to be anything. Like, they don't look entertaining. They look weird. They look creepy. And they're also like Martians. And they did the scene with the spaceships. You know, they did that. That's pretty cool. That's 97 also. You just like flip through the good stuff in here because it's a big book, and I just want to show you guys the highlights because it's only worth it. Like here, Jurassic Park, right? So the thing from Jurassic Park, and they talk about like who did it, like they give people credit, they put their name in it, and interesting, you know, like Jurassic Park was also like 97, and that one was also like partly, I think, at the time was like partly digital. Now it's all CGI. Now it's all digital. Like there's very little. I don't even know how much non-digital that they use, but it's just a bunch of dinosaurs. Here's like more dinosaurs in the park that they have. You know, I'm not sure like how much more like stuff that they have. Let me see. Wait, this is pretty cool. Like this is like the dinosaur like walking down the street. And like the cars like flipping over because there's a dinosaur walking down the street. So like all like havoc breaks loose and there's a car flipping and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's really cool. Like even just to make these effects, just to like think of a way to make these look good and convincing is like a whole thing. Men in Black. I know this is a kind of a creepy, weird alien looking thing, but like, yeah, this is kind of weird. I'll show you guys what this is. Sort of like how they did some of the effects, which I'm not exactly sure how that explains it, but you know, this is more of a movie that was more digital because Men in Black was 1997, so I don't know, but they did a lot of really, really weird costumes in Men in Black. And then like this guy doing that's pretty cool. Like working on some kind of a costume of someone that's gonna be like a character in the movie. And did a lot of interesting stuff with it. Geez, that's crazy. Men in Black was like a weird movie. Titanic. They did Titanic, so they had to make that whole big ship, and they had to make it sink, you know, and that was like a whole chore. That also came out in '97. A lot of films came out in '97 that were like pretty good. I think it was probably a good year for movies, because every movie like is like, oh, '97. This goes like all the way back from '97 to present. This is Deep Impact. I guess that's like a meteor movie or something like that. Deep Impact. I don't remember what this was about. I don't remember watching it. I might have seen it back then. I just, it wasn't anything memorable. It was like another disaster film. And then there's like them doing this like planetary explosion and then showing you how they did it and everything. What's cool about like the book is that they explain all of the stuff that they did and how they did it and everything like that. Like here we have them working on something. What are they working on? This is some kind of spaceship or something. Yeah, okay. So this is part of the movie, but they're working on a spaceship to make it look good. All practical effects, all like real models and stuff like that. Saving Private Ryan. You've seen was an amazing movie. It was like a war movie, but you could see like the boats basically landed on this beach, and the soldiers came out of the boats and they were just being completely shot at like the whole time. And it was a crazy scene, but that scene was based on what actually happened in that war, that's that particular battle. And Saving Private Ryan was 1998, and that was like, what's his name? That actor is like a really good actor, and they showed you other parts like them shooting a bazooka, blowing stuff up. The Mummy, 1999. They did wow, that's crazy. If you look at the face in the thing behind the airplane, that's weird. That's kind of creepy looking. I don't know if that's meant to be a face or is just like randomly there, and it just looks like a face. Yeah, there's all kinds of mummies. This is kind of creepy, so I don't want to, kind of like show too much of this mummy thing because it's kind of weird. Yeah, this is not that. What do they have? They got George Lucas going on. They got like, yeah, a bunch of stuff. Oh, this is cool. Like underwater effects with this like, it looks like an underwater sort of like high-tech sub with like a big fish monster behind them, or like a big fish, like just a giant fish with a, like chasing them and stuff. So The Perfect Storm, 2000, which I didn't even see that. I guess it was about a storm. But what's cool is like, it has like the really popular movies that people are gonna wanna see, and people are gonna be like, how did they make the special effects for that? And you'd wanna read that. But then they add a lot of other movies in here. Probably because the special effects in those movies are also really good. Oh. Okay. That's kind of weird. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take this thing off because like these hardcovers here, that's a lot easier to handle. Okay, that's weird. Like a robot with a woman face. It's kind of weird. Oh, this is so much easier to freaking hold without that. It would have that like book cover. Then a bunch of stuff. Bunch of stuff. This is weird. Minority Report. If you've seen that one, that's a pretty good one. It's like the future, but it's weird. It's such a weird, good movie. Minority Report, when it's got like the floating people and all the high-tech cyberpunk stuff. What's his name was in that? It was another Spielberg film. Yeah, but it was also a weird, like, strange film. There wasn't like a feel-good film. It was like a thriller. Here we go, Terminator 2, Rise of the Machines. And you can see like where they did that. And then that came out in Terminator 3 actually, 2002, which is like, that's why like that movie had a lot more advanced special effects than the first one that came in the 80s, which had great special effects, but they weren't, they were able to like do that because they did it all digitally. And where with the first movie, they had to actually build a robot with glowing eyes out of metal and then have to like animate him and stuff, where this is just like, you know, they just built and copied a bunch of like, you know, computerized animations and stuff. Some interesting stuff. This is the fluid, one of those fluid guys. That looks pretty cool. That's pretty good acting too, because the face that he's making is like convincing that he's like the villain of the movie. And so a bunch of cool stuff in here. You know, the only thing about this book is it's huge, and even though you want to read all of it, you probably won't be able to read it all in one sitting, and it'll probably take a long time to read. But what's good about this book is that you can kind of skip to your favorite movies first and see how they did that and just read that, and then get to all that other stuff later. Day After Tomorrow, which was another one of those, like, I don't remember like what happened in that movie, but it was another disaster flick. That Day After Tomorrow, but that was already like 2004, and that was already, it was already like done. It was already like had really good special effects. They were like really advanced. They've got a bunch of other stuff in this book, but basically, okay, so it does like Harry Potter, Prince, and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Azkaban, I guess that's how you pronounce it. That's kind of a dark photo though, so it's hard to really tell, but they show like films like Harry Potter, they'll show you a lot of stuff. So all those effects in Harry Potter was ILM with these guys. It was what's amazing is like when you look through this, you're like, they did special effects for every good movie in the last like bunch of years, like since the 90s, like, or since the 70s, right? They did like every single, I think these are just the people that do these effects. I mean, you know, like you'd see some of these where they build little houses and little like models and stuff like that. And in the other ones, they'll just do stuff with the computer. They'll just do computerized stuff. This is cool. Some kind of a wraith spirit. That's pretty cool. That's also pretty good acting. She's really getting into the role of the monster in the movie. It's kind of crazy looking. And then like Revenge of the Sith is like all of the effects that were made for that movie. That movie had pretty good effects. I'm just gonna give it that, you know, that positive thing, because I think that movie, like out of everything, that movie had good effects. And that's the thing about like the modern sci-fi movies, they all have good effects. And as you can see, some of the effects were models. Like it wasn't 100% digital or anything like that. I'm just gonna show like the main, like if there's anything interesting about that. What else is there? What else is there? Jarhead. It's just a bunch of other stuff. Mission Impossible 3 with all the explosions. Pirates of the Caribbean, where they did all of the effects on these guys, all of the squid men and stuff. And I see anything really good that everyone likes. Another Pirates of the Caribbean, the second one. That one like they started like they started like releasing Pirates of the Caribbean like all the time. I think the first one did really well, and they just started releasing more and more of them. And I don't think I've been able to like watch an entire Pirates of the Caribbean movie. You know, they have Transformers. This is an interesting shot also. It's a photograph of their studio where they make stuff. And that looks like a huge studio. That looks like, I mean, that looks like a gigantic studio. Like a whole like factory floor room. This is more shots of Iron Man. I think they did Iron Man really well because that looked really good and convincing. And especially, and also 2008, wow. That was a really good movie. You know, they did it really well. Indiana Jones, they got that going. More about, you know, Terminator. Let's see what else is going on here. Transformers, they did Transformers, which is pretty cool. They pretty much did every single movie. It takes like a lot of patience to weave through this whole thing, but if you just like, you don't really have to, because each movie, they only do a few pages on each movie, and it's like, this was a great movie, Avatar, nice. I did all the effects for that, and that one had amazing, amazing effects. They had to create effects for that. They had to create machines that would make effects for that. They had to create like film that they didn't have to just do those effects. And there's another one of these dudes, like sort of mechs in the movie. And then, anything else? I don't know. And then, like, I did the effects for that. I did like that model, Star Trek. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, that's the illustration, light, and magic. This stuff is really cool. It's worth getting. The book is huge and heavy, but it's worth it because it's all photographs and like all about like how they did all of these effects. Because you see the effects and you don't think like someone actually had to do them. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe, and you know, comment whatever is on your mind. And I will see you guys in another video later.